there, and a warm welcome to News Across Nigeria, where we give you information on what's happening across the country. I am Olumide Makoli. On today's program, the Inspector General of Police mediates between warring communities in Agatu, also denies police involvement in arming herdsmen. UNICEF identifies child malnutrition in 5 states in the Federation. And Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa embarks on rehabilitation of roads. Thank you for joining us. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, has denied allegations of survivors of Agatu attacks that a police helicopter from Nasarawa State has been dropping arms for herdsmen to sustain attacks in Agatu communities. Mr. Arase says the villagers' claims cannot be substantiated and there is no evidence for it. The police boss was speaking in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, when he convened a reconciliation meeting between the warring Agatu farmers and the armed Fulani herdsmen.
Men, women and children displaced from Agatu community because of the communal clash between the farmers and the Fulani herdsmen. They are taking refuge in this primary school in Akbar local government. It appears to be the most uncomfortable for the women and children. They accuse the police of aiding their attackers.
Fulani they are from Nasarawa State, and they use a headquarters from Nasarawa State with some army force. So I then destroy Aku.
A claim the Inspector General of Police dismisses.
Let's just assume that it's still in the realm of speculative allegations, and I don't think it is true, because a helicopter cannot hover around a space like that and it's not visible. So I think it's not true.
Eventually, the police boss meets with Agatu farmers and Fulani herdsmen in peace and reconciliation talks.
They are ready to peace to hands.
While the herdsmen blame their action on an earlier attack by Agatu youths who killed 6 herdsmen, the Agatu elders paint a gory picture of the history of attacks by the herdsmen since 2012.
The youth of Agatu refuse to comply with what they need, because even yesterday and then before yesterday they went to local in the neighboring country, continue shooting towards local, and local is the Nasarawa State.
Is it double justice? Is it because Agatu is a small place and the Fulani are taking advantage of their size? They have the money, they have the means, they have the population. I believe might is not right. Agatu is begging. We have our president to protect us.
The Inspector General of Police appeals to them to return to the path of peace.
They have to learn to live together. They have lived together all this while, and there is no family, there are no friendship that you don't have occasional altercations. We disagree even at our family level based on perspective and principles, so we always continue to disagree. But when those disagreements, whenever they cross the threshold into resulting in violence and wanton destruction of public property, that is not acceptable.
Mr. Arase is confident that peace will return to war-torn Agatu as he constituted a peace committee involving the parties in the 3-week-long crisis.
Speaking of committees now, the ones strategizing on how to hand over communities taken back from the Boko Haram sect is on a 3-day visit to Yobe State. They're working in collaboration with the state government and security forces on how to institute civil authority and resettle internally displaced persons. Addressing committee members at the government house, Governor Ibrahim Gaidam says the Boko Haram violence has displaced nearly 300,000 people who need to get back to their normal lives.
For over 6 years, about 300,000 people have been displaced from various communities in Yobe due to continued activities of Boko Haram terror group in the region. Now the story is different because the security forces have taken back most of the area captured by the terror group, and life is gradually returning to the areas. Because of this, the federal government InterMinisterial Committee for Resettlement of Internally Displaced Persons are on a 3-day visit to ensure that all liberated communities by security forces are handed over to civil authorities.
This committee is to consult with the government and the people of Yobe State, and especially the civil law enforcement agencies, to look at the areas that have been liberated, to look at the state of these areas, the communities in these areas, the people that are in the area, and look at what structures need to be put on ground to make sure that life is made comfortable for them.
The Deputy Governor of Yobe State, Abubakar Aliyu, says since 2011 till date, over 280 persons are currently living in different neighboring communities in the country.
The state currently has 3,402 IDPs in 2 official camps and a total of 22,097 IDPs in self-set-up camps, while a total of over 280,000 IDPs are living in different host communities here in the state. The total number of public buildings and facilities destroyed across the 12 local government areas is 1,098, while private structures, assets in the form of buildings, shops, vehicles, livestock, etc., belonging to almost 24,000 individuals were destroyed during attacks.
The state government commends the efforts of the security personnel and the commitment of the President Buhari-led administration towards ending the insurgency, but challenges the committee and other collaborating partners to ensure the resettlement, reconstruction and rehabilitation of devastated areas.
You want to know about this? The United Nations Children Emergency Fund, UNICEF, has identified 5 states in northern Nigeria with serious cases of malnutrition for children under the age of 5 years old. According to the chief UNICEF nutritionist, an estimated 70,000 children from the affected states will die by the end of 2016 if nothing is done to save the situation. The states, according to UNICEF, include Jigawa, Katsina, Kebbi, Yobe, and Zamfara states.
According to UNICEF, 22% of Nigeria's 1.6 million malnourished children are in 5 states in northern Nigeria. The states include Jigawa, Katsina, Kebbi, Yobe, and Zamfara. UNICEF's chief nutritionist says majority of these children will die if nothing is done to save them.
According to our estimates, about 1.6 million children in the country in 2016 are severely malnourished. But just in these 5 states alone, almost 25% of all the children, about 22% of all the children that need treatment in the country are in these 5 states alone.
Other nutritionists are attributing the cause of malnutrition in the north to expectant mothers' refusal to patronize healthcare facilities in the region. They're also recommending exclusive breastfeeding as one solution to the problem.
Only 10% of mothers in northern Nigerian states actually deliver in a health facility. These are quite shocking figures, and the antenatal care attendance, which contributes to improved nutrition of the mother, is very important. Very important infant and young child feeding. There are 2 aspects. One is exclusive breastfeeding. One is making sure that the children receive a proper complementary food, that's the diet, within the first 2 to 3 years of life. Those are very important.
Meanwhile, the Jigawa State Commissioner of Health says the government is currently working to address the situation.
Our budget for 2016 has just been approved, and I'm very pleased to let you know that in Jigawa State, health sector has the 2nd highest allocation in the state, and it has also attained the 15% Abuja declaration requirement. So essentially what I'm saying is, for now we have some adequate budget to fund the health sector, but I cannot speak on behalf of what had happened before our government came into office.
Although the 5 affected states budgeted for nutrition in 2014 and 2015, the report from UNICEF says not a single state funded that budget.
You're watching News Across Nigeria. Coming up, we'll hear about how the Adamawa state government is working with the National Population Commission ahead of the 2017 census using technology. Stay with us.